So you see that side that's leaking? Right there, a little bit of transmission fluid. Yeah, it's seized somehow. I can get the larger fitting to turn, but not the small one. It just rounds off immediately, which, you know, that makes perfect sense despite the fact that it's leaking around it. But this one, yeah, that one's coming off just fine despite being super bone dry and rusty. You know, as it should be. Come on, focus, please. That I just noticed. Guess it's a good thing I'm replacing this line. Jeez. Please focus. So, looking at these lines, this one here is just as old, but it's not as bad. And unfortunately, they are both secured together up there. And I don't think I'm going to get that clip apart easily. So what I'm thinking of doing is just removing both lines, abandoning the transmission cooler in the radiator, and going to that. Now I picked that up just in case, and I think that's just going to be the way to go. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to abandon the existing cooler. It's just, I don't want to deal with these rusty lines. So, taking these off, got this here that I'm going to mount in front of the old radiator somewhere, I'm sure. Don't know where yet, but I'll find a way. And guess we'll go from there. I'm going to put some hose barbs on the transmission, and in the output I'm going to put a temperature sensor because I want to know at least an idea of how hot the transmission is getting. I also need to drain the fluid, but this is a little too high up to drain, it looks like. Anyway, I guess we'll see where it goes. I was hoping to use this because this temperature sensor is the correct thread. And I would just stick a couple of barbed fittings on the end and that'd be it. But unfortunately this temperature sensor is too long. So I'm going to have to go back to my original plan of using this one, which kind of sucks. It is brass, so it will have some issues with heat soak. I knew about this before, but that's okay. Really, all I care about is the maximum temperature of the transmission. So although this will give me some delayed readings, and it'll read hotter for longer, even after it's cooled down, it at least will let me know what the upper temperature is that I've reached. So if I reach, 210 degrees, I know to shut it down. So let's see how far I get with this. Well, I got those in. Of course, that top line, that was dry and rusty, it came right off. The bottom line, which was not rusty and well lubricated with transmission fluid, wouldn't. These things don't make sense to me. But got those fittings on, they're nice and tight. Of course, got a fitting and a fitting up there. It's just, you do what you have to do, you know. Honestly, no fix is complete without zip ties. I've got the lines run, everything's basically ready to be plumbed in. I just need to cut them to length, snip one of them down, add my temperature sensor in, and finish securing this, snip those off. There's just not a lot of places to mount the cooler, but I think that'll do. So let's get this done. I may have missed, but importantly, the pan is clean and the gasket's in great condition too. I have a replacement gasket and I'm going to use it, but this is good, and there's hardly anything in here that's really of any concern. That is awesome. Well, that actually came from my finger, but if I use a clean finger, hardly any clutch material. Honestly, this is great. I'm going to clean up. I don't even think I'm going to replace the filter. This is just good. Perfect. Seriously though, this gasket is in excellent condition. Again, I'm going to replace it anyway, but like a little bit of grime fell in the pan from outside, but this is just such good news. Well, I got it done. Had to go to O'Reilly's and pick up a few more fittings because, Jesus, one of the ones I tightened too much and split it, but it is done, and I've got a nice new transmission temperature gauge. This is crazy. I love it. Anyway, that's all for now.